Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Board Show right here on Smash FM here on a Wednesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's turn our attention now to fencing in particular. And of course, we speak with the Rouge Fencing Club. And of course, they are based pretty much out at Albert Park at MSAC. And of course, we've got three very special guests joining us right now to tell us a bit about it, obviously what they're looking forward to in 2022, and especially what's happening around the club as well as all three committee members. Thanks all three for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks, Will.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. Well, I'll get all three to introduce yourselves and tell us, I guess, how did all three get involved with Rouge Fencing Club?
Is Rogue Fencing Club. Okay, my name's Rebecca. I'm the president of Rogue Fencing. It started in 2020, pretty much at the start of the first lockdown in Melbourne. And Tulia sent me a text. This is after we realised every sporting facility had closed down, all the clubs had closed down. We were kind of starting to lose our minds pretty shortly after it started. And Tulia sent me a text and said, why don't we just do some outdoor training, just the two of us, and hang out and do some footwork and that sort of thing. Is that your memory of it, Tulia?
Yeah, pretty much. So it all started with one simple text message that we should do something.
Yes.
We can do outdoors. So my name is Tulia, and I'm in charge of the money of this club. So I guess that makes me the treasurer, the trusted adult.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, it started with very simply. I think we picked the rainy day as well when we started it.
That's
we were
right.
just in South Bank. There's a local community centre with the little basketball court and flat surface, and we decided let's just do something, and didn't have any gear or anything to start with, and had a bit of a search of some YouTube videos that what does other people do fencing wise in lockdown to train, and we tried to do some of that stuff. It was a little bit complicated for us, and we dumped it down and took it from there and started to catch up once a week. And then we were like, well, I wonder if there's other people that we know that would like to join us, and could this really be a thing once we are out of lockdown?
Mm. And what about you, Kath? When did you come on board? I don't remember.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
Hi, I'm Kath, and I am the events coordinator here at Rogue. So it all came about. You actually, Rebecca, collected my gear from. It was all locked down. It was locked inside. And you had to actually go and get it for me from the other venue, and we met up and you went, hey, Tulia and I are doing, we're doing training, just footwork, etc. You brought, so I decided, yep, I'll do a session with you, and you brought along these plastic rods. So we pretended that we actually had swords in our hands and did footwork in the park. And active stretching, which was more of a chit chat. So that's kind of how it all came about, and then we've had a few more people join us over time.
That's right, because we used to meet, because we had the 5 kilometre rule for a while, so we had to meet north side at Royal Park, and then I would meet Tulia south side, which was in South Bank, which was the extent of my 5K limit. Yeah. So.
Right.
It was pretty funny,
All thanks to lockdown.
Thank you, lockdown. Yeah.
Rogue.
So members were firstly selected based on 5K radius.
Yeah.
That was the criteria. If you were within the 5K, you could join us.
We just lost it. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we had a 4th person who was just in St Kilda, and then I was sort of in the middle of that, and it was like what's the rules? What can we do within those rules? because we just wanted to stay connected, because we all met through fencing. We didn't know each other before we started to fence for a different club. And I said, well, we should stay connected. And that's like, well, what can we do? Outdoor sports is allowed. So
we said, let's go rogue. And then we said that, okay, that's the name of our club pretty much.
Yeah, that was like a first thing, like priorities. Didn't have a venue, didn't really have much of a structure, had a cool name, and had to come up with a logo.
High priority.
High priority, 100%.
Yeah.
And then we sort of sit down and thought about, all right, so what are we going to do differently? What were the things that we like to see in this sports, and started talking, and got a couple of more like-minded people on board, and Fencing Victoria. After through Fencing Victoria, I had a chat to them as well, and they were very supportive and helped us to get a proper venue. And we've been on at MSAC now for a year. So we are a serious fencing club.
So what are the plans for 2022?
Oh, some great plans, Will. We are launching our first beginners sessions, which is something that a great deal of people we find really, really want to give fencing a crack. A lot of people out there, they say, I would just love to have a go and see what it would be like to stab someone in a fencing environment, and see what it's like to face off against an opponent with a sword, as all of us at Rogue have been like in the past. We love the competitive aspect of the sport. You know, there's so much more to it than simply just stabbing each other. But beginners is a beginners class. You really need to do something of that nature to get you into the sport. We've got a great coach to take people through it. Starts in February. We're not quite finalised with a date yet, but keep an eye on our socials, which we can mention probably at the end of the show. It's an 8-week session, so once a week down at MSAC in Albert Park. It's about an hour and a half, isn't it, per session?
Yeah.
Great way to get fit and start 2022. Guarantee lots and lots of fun will be had. Yeah. Any other points I need to mention, Tulia and Kath? What do you think?
I guess we had a little bit of playtime with Fencing Victoria, and also networking with other clubs. And one of the concepts that the club has, that you don't have to be a member to come and fence with us. So we can do what we call casual fencing. Just rock up, suss it out. First time you come, free. See if it's something you want to do, and then ongoing you just pay as you go. Very minimal $10 fee. So we kind of continue that networking. We trying to entice people to mix up outside their clubs and fence against a little bit different individuals, and build their skill that way as well. That's always our focus for sure. More the merrier for us. Plenty of room, and we do wireless as well, which is a little bit unique for most of the clubs. We always been keen to also do a little bit of outdoor activities and fence outdoors as well in a controlled manner. So we've been working with Fencing Victoria to clarify what that looks like and where can we do that. And we did a couple of sessions in Flagstaff, just on the tennis court, and it was actually a lot of fun. A lot of kids, a lot of dogs. That's still on the cards for this year as well. So
You started the club just for pretty much when the pandemic started, pretty much. So how difficult has that been over the last 2 years?
It's define difficult.
Yeah.
It's their logistics involved and a lot of communications involved, and trying to figure out what you can and cannot do. There's been a little bit of that.
some of that outdoor fencing came involved. So, you know, we obviously had to make sure that we were covered by insurance and seeking Fencing Victoria's approval. But that's where that came into it. So we could actually get out there and fence when you couldn't do any indoor activities. And it's lots of fun. It's fun fencing outside. I love it. Yeah, I mean, it was a struggle for everyone, right? Like everyone that was in lockdown. But when we got back to our 5K radiuses, you know, Tulia and Rebecca, they're way better at staying fit than I am. They continue to do their catch-ups and exercises, you know, for all their footwork, etc. So
yeah, I mean, I remember during lockdown, about 12 people sent me that meme that said fencing is the ideal COVID-19 safe sport. You know, you're masked, you're 1.5 meters apart, you've got fully gear covered. On it, fully covered, that sort of thing. And I'll be like, ha ha ha, but we can't actually do it because the insurance requirements state it's not that safe unless you're in kind of a fenced off area where no one can wander in. So we'd say, yeah, it's perfect, except for the fact that we have to have safety first, yes. So that was kind of funny, but we still, as Kath mentioned, managed to get some sort of fake swords with these kind of jousting stick ideas.
A lot of tennis balls.
And do kind of tennis balls and distance exercises. Yeah. And also, I mean, Tulia loves gym. So Tulia's got about 10,000 concepts to do for warm-ups and footwork and that sort of thing. Well, like you've got those lights that light up.
Oh, yeah.
Those things, I don't know if you know those, Will, that you stamp on them and it's good for foot coordination or something. Yeah. All sorts of crazy things that we adapted to our own purpose and did during lockdowns. So, yeah, that, you know, we found it extremely challenging, but above all, we still managed to get together either on Zoom or face-to-face, and as well as our footwork, we'd have a lot of fun. We'd have, you know, great chinwag. You know, me and Kath up in Royal Park, sometimes we just sit down and chat. Yeah.
And it was a good time to map out what like the beginners girls would look like and what it would take us to do it a little bit differently to other clubs where we said, all right, it's COVID times. Let's make sure you get your own mask, your own club, make it safe. What does that look like? What is the cost structure? Look for financial grants and support for it as well. So there's always that sort of stuff, but we just tried to keep in touch. There was who wears the craziest hat, free dinner drinks, and all sorts of things going on over Zoom. So
even though it's been a short period of time, and obviously with, you know, obviously lockdown and everything else has happened, any highlights throughout the 2 years of the club? I meant the club, not in general.
Club has been the highlight of my 2 years.
Yeah, we created a club. For us, that was incredible that we're still here now. We recently got 2-star club status, which means we're more than 1 star.
Yeah.
We get a few perks from Fencing Victoria, our state body, which is terrific. It sort of means we've been acknowledged for doing something and managing to stay together and, you know, have that kind of club-like environment where it's a bit more than just a place that people show up to keep fit like a gym. It's, you know, we enjoy each other's company. We love fencing each other. We're all ages, so we're quite diverse. Our youngest is about 9 and our oldest is 80, which is my dad, who's a very long-term fencer. So we've got like very, very diverse skills and interests in fencing. Some of us compete and some of us don't, and that's absolutely fine. That's how we kind of like it. Yeah, what other highlights do you think?
I was going to mention, you know, your medal winning.
Oh yeah, we did some comps. Yeah. Tulia recently competed at the Nationals.
Yeah.
We had our youngest member to be in a club challenge competition. We managed to get few of us to fence on against all the Victorian clubs, which was awesome. Just to see that people wanted to have a go at it. Whether you take it seriously or not, it's always good fun. And the fact that we also partnered with other clubs to fencing with them, decided to try FA that we fence, and that was actually that was one of my highlights, that we had a bigger community as well, and we had a couple of people. Then it was a little bit more visible in MSAC as well. So.
I agree. That's a highlight for me, Tulia. Like, coincidentally, you create this absolutely tiny fencing club, and then all of a sudden you meet so many more different types of people that maybe you normally wouldn't. So I feel we've got some really nice links with people in other clubs just from trying different things, I think.
What does sport of fencing mean to all three, especially being part of the Rouge Fencing Club?
For me, it's definitely the social aspects. Like, I love fencing. I always wanted to fence. I started fencing only a couple of years ago. So pretty much I started fencing, and then all of a sudden I became a veteran in fencing according to the age bracket, which I found quite amusing and devastating at the same time. But anyway, but I just love it. There's different levels of everyone's skills, and everyone's there to help you. So whether you're new or whether you've done it for 20 years, everyone's really accommodating. I definitely don't go into competitions. It's not my, I was going to say bag baby, so I've just said it. It's not my bag baby, but I just do it for the social aspect, and it is so much fun to put your mask on, get that sword in your hand, and just have fun. It's so good. But yeah, that's me.
A lot of good comments there, Kath. I started probably 6 months after you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Also, thanks to the age bracket, very veteran in this sport. But I think one of the things that really appealed to me, that when I started fencing there, it was a small group that I started with, but it was a very diverse group, and we talk about a lot about diversity in sport, and it's one sport where you can imagine we have a 9-year-old, 80-year-old who fence each other. We have women, we have men fencing. We all fence each other. It doesn't matter whether the gender doesn't play a huge role in it, and you can still have fun with it, and you don't have to limit yourself. There's no locker room culture either, because typically fencing, all the organized fencing is mixed groups. It's not based on gender. It is based on age. Obviously, you don't want to trash 70-year-old kids with someone who's aiming for next Olympics. So there has to be a little bit thought around it. But that was very appealing to me, that you suddenly have these very experienced people that you can learn a lot from, and then you have the people who are at the same level with you, and it makes it a little bit more enjoyable, but you don't get trashed every time you fence as well. But it's a good mixture, and it's a really cool sport in that sense. I haven't really done a fair bit of sports in my life, but I haven't really come across a sport that would have that sort of diversity on every time you're training.
And me, why I did it, well, fencing's in my family. So my dad and my uncle did it in Melbourne in the 50s through the Excalibur Club when they were teenagers. And then we all did it in the 80s when I was a teenager. And there was a very famous coach called John Feathers who competed in all three weapons, which is épée, foil and sabre. And he was incredible. He was like an old Errol Flynn. He was just an absolute dude. So I learnt from him for about 3 years and have honestly forgotten everything that I learnt from that stage, because I was only 13 years old and a complete idiot. And then I came back into it kind of late 30s and have been at it for about 9 years, I guess. I don't know if we count the pandemic, but yeah, maybe we do. So I love it for all those swashbuckling reasons. We've watched a lot of old cheesy movies in my house. We love Gene Kelly and, you know, Three Musketeers and Scaramouche, and the cheesier the better in my household growing up. So that's really where I'm coming to it from. It makes me feel like a pirate. I mean, there's some people you fence that you're like, man, I'm in a movie right now, because you have to fight for your life with some of these people, you know. You've got to be as smart as you can and as quick as you can to defend yourself. And yeah, it is like Kath and Tulia were saying, it's the most fun you can have. It's a really satisfying sport. If you can even get 1 point against someone who's terrific, you just go home on a high. It's one of those things. So yeah, I'm with you guys. Absolutely love it.
So what would be your advice to people that should get involved in fencing, and especially down at Rogue?
Guys, all you need is sneakers, and it's more fun than gym.
Yep.
And if you hate running but you want to do cardio, this is your thing. I don't run, and this
I don't
is
run. Yeah.
what you do.
We don't run.
We don't run. There is
Yeah,
no run.
we can't run.
But if you want to run, you can run.
Go
You can
for it.
also
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
But it's an easy sport to get into with the reasonable. It's like it's surprisingly cheap, and it's fun, and all you really need to start with is a pair of sneakers, and you're good to go to give it a go.
When's your nights at MSAC when training starts?
Starting up again in the new year, back at MSAC this Monday, the 17th of Jan. We generally go in from about 5 p.m. It's about 5 to 8:30ish. Most people filter in from about 6, but there's a few of us getting lessons from our coach a bit earlier than that. Yeah, it's casual sessions. It's really just a casual club. It's $10 a pop, but newcomers are welcome to just come down. We invite any lapsed fencers as well. We know there's a few out there that've got the old gear in the cupboard that's been going dusty. So if you feel like you just want to have a non-stressful entry back into fencing and you've been thinking about it for a while, Rogue is not a bad way, because it's just come and go as you please. But we've still got some structure there. If you want to get a coach and you want to get some sessions and you want to do comps, you can definitely go down that path with us as well. But if you want to keep things on a more casual basis, yeah, you can just come every Monday from about 5 p.m. onwards.
And you, I think Beck might have mentioned before about your social media pages and all that, which that's how I found this club, to be perfectly honest. So you must tell us how our listeners can find, obviously, the club on social media.
Yeah, so our website is www.roguemelbourne.com.au. It's ROGUE, which is frequently misspelt, unfortunately. We're quite active on Instagram and Facebook. Both of them are at Rogue Fencing Melbourne. Did I say that correctly? Yes.
Rogue Fencing Melbourne.
Yes. At Rogue Fencing Melbourne. Yeah.
And we'll be putting our beginners course dates on there as well. So for anyone who's actually interested in kicking off fencing in the new year, which I highly recommend, those dates will be on there as well in the coming week.
Well, all three, thank you so much for getting up your time to join us. It's awesome having all three on the show. Hopefully I'll be coming out there to see it all, and hopefully to come with your other members out there. Yes. And hopefully we'll check back a bit later on in the year.
Awesome.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
Having us.
Thank you.
No worries. And of course, if you want to get involved, as I mentioned, down of course at the Rogue Fencing Club, and of course that is down at Albert Park at MSAC. as I mentioned, Monday at 5 p.m. starting from this coming Monday. Of course, I will put all the details up on how you can get involved in that. There's more on the Smash Sport Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.